Welcome to Latter-day Miracles, where we share true stories of angels and marvels.
Get ready to enjoy accounts from everyday people that remind us of divine love, that we're never truly alone, and the power of faith in these latter days. I'm Haley Hatch Freeman.
And I'm Misty Smith. Sit back, open your heart, and prepare to be inspired.
Welcome to Latter-day Miracle. I have a special guest with us today, Linda Perkes. And maybe you noticed I am missing my co-host. Misty is sick, so we send her well wishes that hopefully she'll feel better soon. But we'll go ahead and do our podcast as usual on schedule with Linda. You might recognize her. We've had her as a guest before, and she was so fabulous. And she has so many amazing miracles and messages that we just knew that we needed to bring her back. And she's amazing to be here again with us. And I'll go ahead and read her bio and then send the time over to her. After 15 years in telecommunications, Linda transferred her skills into health industry. Now she currently enjoys a 23-year career as a massage therapist. In 2014, she published an inspirational book entitled Jesus is Here. Come Join the Feast. I love this book. I highly endorse it. It was released on Kindle and as an audio book this spring. After enduring a horrific neurological health challenge for 2 years, Linda found healing for it by using hypnotherapy. She became trained as a hypnotherapist and now offers hypnosis therapy to others. Linda has a passion for teaching and has conducted nearly 700 classes or seminars on various subjects. That is amazing. How does someone do 700 classes?
I'm really old. It's young, I'm really old.
Oh, that's phenomenal. She and her second husband, Mark, have posterity totaling 22, including all their children, bonus children, in-laws, and grandchildren. At the age of 50, she took up mountaineering, rock climbing, canyoneering, and ice waterfall climbing. At age 56, she learned backcountry skiing so that she could climb California's Mount Shasta to ski down it. She summited many mountains such as Grand Teton, Mount Olympus, and Kingfisher Tower. She also cycles and has completed tri-state tours and triathlons. Good relationships with family, friends, clientele keep Linda motivated to make a positive difference in this world. And she's fabulous. So I'm so excited to go ahead and turn the time over to her.
Okay, thank you so much, Haley. Well, the first thing that I want to share with you wonderful people who are my friends is that in 1992, I received my first massage, and it was so wonderful that within 30 minutes being on that table, I decided I want to become a massage therapist. I want to do this. I want to help other people feel as great as I'm feeling right now. However, it took about 11 years for life to work its way toward me being able to go to school. And what happened actually was in February 11th, 2002, I was the recipient of a pretty horrific head-on car collision. So the oncoming car, I'm not going to tell the details, but the oncoming car had barely slowed to 55 miles an hour. I was stopped when it hit me. So as I saw the car coming, people say that during trauma, the time slows down, and it really did slow down. And I thought, I'm dead. And I said, Heavenly Father, please take care of my children. And the next thing I knew, I blacked out. The airbag hit me, and I don't know how long I was out, maybe 10, 15 minutes, because when I came to, the horn was blaring. There was the horrific smell of the airbag having blown, the explosion. And I was surprised that I was still alive.
Wow.
Now, I crawled out. I couldn't get out the driver's side, but I crawled out the passenger side. So we're going to fast forward and say that when I walked over to the incident people and said, "Hey, I was just in an accident. Is there anybody here who can help me?" They looked like I was a walking ghost because I think everyone thought the person in that vehicle was dead.
Wow.
So uh, the recovery for that accident took, mm, after about a year, I was functioning better. And it was after a year that I was able to start going to massage school. So it was determined by the state of Utah that I was unable to do my former career. And so the state of Utah put me through vocational rehabilitation and I was able to become a massage therapist. And
Wow.
here is what I think about it is I wanted to be a massage therapist so badly to help other people. And I think Heavenly Father, God, the universe, however you want to say, said, "Oh, you think you're compassionate? You think that you have empathy? You think that you understand pain? Well, let's give you a life experience that will help you be a better therapist."
Wow.
Oh, it took a long, long time to recover. I was in pain, a significant amount of pain for 3 years. But the cool thing is our bodies can recover. What I wanted to say about this accident is so many people said to me, "You'll never be the same." Okay. Before the accident, I had ridden Lotaja, the longest one-day bike race in America, and I hoped to do it again, but then the accident happened. And people were saying, "You'll never be an athlete again. Your body's so broken." And I didn't reply to them. I just shook my head. But in my mind and my heart, I said, "You're right. I'll never be the same. I'm going to be 1,000 times better."
Wow. I love that.
Know that our body has the ability to heal on every level, everything. In the first podcast that we gave, I shared the story of my great grandmother having been raised from the dead. So
Yeah.
in my DNA is the knowledge and the memory that everything can be overcome, including death. And so I just had that attitude. I'm going to be better. And yeah, it was about 3.5 years after the accident before I was really going strong again and doing some adventurous things. What I want to share, though, is a few of the miracles that I've experienced while working with people as my clients. I'm going to change their names because I didn't have a chance to get permission to use their names. So, really, really cool story. Uh, there was a 17-year-old girl who woke up in the middle of the night with excruciating back spasms, and she was just crying, asking her mom, "Please take me to the emergency, take me to the emergency room." So she was in the drill team of her high school, again, 17 years old. "Take me to the emergency room, Mom, help me." And her mom said, "Please, can you just hang on a couple of hours and I'm going to call Linda." So I got a phone call at 5:45 a.m. from my friend asking me if I could help her daughter. We bring the daughter down into my massage room. And the first thing I asked the mom, how long's it been since she had some magnesium? Years ago, probably 15 years ago, I read a chapter in a book, and the chapter in the book was called The Magnesium Miracle. And so I began really educating all my clients about how important magnesium is. So before I finish the story, let me share with you about magnesium, if that's okay.
Yes.
The water that has been put on this earth for humans to consume is really, really full of magnesium. It's like the highest mineral in waters like springs, wells, uh, rivers, even the ocean. We know the ocean's salty. Guess what the second highest mineral in the ocean is? Magnesium. So
Yeah.
all the water that our ancestors drank and people for millennia has been really, really high in magnesium. Now, in our modern day, we are very happy to have clean water, aren't we? We're very happy to have pure water to drink. However, it has been stripped of magnesium and other trace minerals. And so everybody everywhere is deficient in magnesium. if they are not supplementing. Okay, so back to this story with this girl. I asked her mom, how long's it been since she had magnesium? And the mom said, I don't know. She asked the girl. The girl didn't know. I don't know. I don't take magnesium. Well, she had had some really, really hard workouts with the drill team, and her back had gone into a spasm, a huge Charlie horse. And the interesting thing is that when the back spasms, the back muscles can spasm 10 to 20 times harder than any other muscles in the body.
Oh, ow.
Or sinew calf, 10 to 20 times harder than that. And that's what the kind of pain this girl's in. So I gave her some magnesium. I gave her some trace minerals, some salt, water. I like to give my clients sodium ascorbate, which is a vitamin C that is non-acidic. Okay. And so we're flooding her body with nutrition. Then we start the massage. And I'd worked on her for probably 90 minutes, which is an average massage time. And she felt so much better. The spasm had stopped. She went home, took a little nap, and then went to school and had an average normal school day.
Wow.
That's how incredible the magnesium miracle is. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Another cool story. The husband of one of my clients couldn't raise his arm. He hadn't been able to use his arm or raise his arm for weeks and weeks. And he asked his wife, would you think Linda would work on me? And she brought him over. And like I did with the other girl, how long's it been since she had some magnesium? Fortunately, he did take magnesium somewhat sporadically, but we filled his body full of magnesium. I also had learned to use it topically. So there's a trace mineral substance I use topically on the muscles, and I began massaging him, found a knot in the back of his left tricep up in, it's called the quadrangle area. Isn't that a cool word? Quadrangle is the back of the shoulder where it meets the triceps. And I found it's kind of halfway between a golf ball size and a baseball size knot in his arm. I began massaging it, and it took about an hour. Again, we filled his body full of trace minerals and other things like sodium ascorbate, but I used the trace minerals and magnesium topically. And pretty soon I said, okay, I can feel that this knot is gone. I'm going to sidestep and tell you, often people ask me, how do you know where the knots are? And the answer is muscles that are healthy. When I began manipulating healthy muscles, they feel like a water balloon. They're very flaccid and pliable. Well, as I am manipulating muscles, if I feel an area that feels like a tree limb, or I feel an area that feels like day-old oatmeal that old in the fridge, then we know that that area has some restricted blood flow and it's a muscle knot. And so that's where I to continue manipulating it until that area becomes more flaccid. But okay, so the man, I think we're done now. And I left the room. His wife went into the room to visit with him while he was putting his clothes on. And she said he was jumping up and down, arms in the air and jumping around everywhere. He was so happy. It's working. But isn't that cool? For weeks and weeks, he couldn't use his arm. And within 45 minutes, it was, shall we say, healed. Okay.
Wow.
Well, cool miracle. Another one. This is a fun one. A running partner of one of my clients, whom this client was training, had already run the Boston Marathon. She had qualified a second time to run Boston Marathon, and her running partner had also qualified. So as they began running partner, I'm not going to use her real name, we'll call her Sherry. Sherry was getting a lot of pain in her knee and visited a doctor, visited a physical therapist, and they said to this girl, Sherry, you're not going to be able to run the Boston Marathon. The pain in your knee is too great. We think that you're going to need weeks of rest, and you shouldn't run it. Well, she purchased her plane tickets. She had her number. I said to my client, do you think she'd be willing to come and visit with me for just a half hour? So Sherry came and met with me. As she's reclining on the table, of course, I asked her about her magnesium intake, which was sporadic, if any. This was years ago. Lots of people know more about magnesium, but back then, not as many did. And she had not been consuming much magnesium. Well, I found also literally a baseball size, between golf ball size and baseball size knot in her right where the right gluteus muscle meets with the IT band. So high on the top of the leg. And the pain in her knee was actually kind of on the inside. Okay. So here I find the knot on the outside of her hip, but the pain on her knee is on the inside. But I said to her, I think we can make a difference here. May I work with this? And we did filled her up with magnesium minerals, and they used the topical minerals and began working with it. And I knew she had a pretty decent pain tolerance because she's a marathon runner. And so I went after it. But I explained to her, here's why I think your knee is hurting. It's like a bed sheet. Remember, if you're pulling a bed sheet on and all those squares, if you pull one corner, it can pull off diagonal across the other, and it can pull bed sheet off. Well, I think that muscle knot was shortening the muscle enough that it was pulling on the inside of her knee. So got it. It was removed. We got it smoothed out and flaccid. And I said to her, I think you're fine. Go running tomorrow. And I taught her how to continue treating that muscle so that it wouldn't knot up again. And I'll talk about that in just a second, with heat, ice, massage, and whatnot. And she did go jogging the next morning because the marathon was literally 2 weeks away. She ran the marathon by
Yay.
take care of her muscle and doing these things. She ran the marathon. She said her time wasn't as fast as what she'd hoped, but using some minerals and learning how to take care of those muscles, that was a pretty cool miracle that she defied the medical people that told her not to run. It's not fun.
That's awesome.
Our bodies are really cool. But what I'd like to share about the muscles is when they tighten up, again, because maybe they don't have enough minerals. So I'm so grateful that all over America, everybody's hydrating, right? Everybody's hydration. And I'm so glad a lot of the electrolytes are higher in salt, and that's awesome. We need a lot of salt. So
yeah, this is something I've really learned a lot about because my daughter has POTS.
oh dear. Yeah.
And that's the thing she needs the most is a lot of hydration and a lot of sodium. And so this is something that is in my world a lot right now.
Oh, I'm so glad. Well, yeah, we give our animals salt licks.
Yep.
We give the cows salt licks.
Yep. I grew up on a farm dropping off salt licks all the time.
And then we humans, we're animals too.
Yep.
Yeah, we need our salt. I'm just really grateful that America is stepping up and having more hydration and more salt. So I want to share that when our muscles are in a spasm, they spasm like this. It's like a wash rag. It's being wrung out. Okay. And those silly, cute little myofibril muscles, they are like runaway horses. Once they start spasming, they get worse and worse and worse and worse. And something's got to get in the middle and stop that negative cycle. And the things that can get in the middle and stop that negative cycle are heat, ice, massage, gentle stretching, and gentle exercise. And so I tell my clients when we're trying to turn a condition around, let's say we've added ice and then the muscle doesn't hurt anymore. We've added ice because the ice gets it to relax. And see, when it relaxes, now the blood can run through it and the healing can start. So I like to say with the baby, the muscle's hurting. And I say it's like a baby crying for a bottle. Okay. It's hurting because it's lacking blood flow. It's crying. It's like a baby crying for a bottle. It's hungry. The muscle's hungry. It doesn't have its blood flow. So when we release it and the blood is moving through there, then it stops hurting. Often, like people right on my table, they go from quite a bit of pain to no pain whatsoever. But then I send them out the door and say, now it's your job to keep these muscles healthier and happier. So we want you to do heat, ice, or gentle exercise, gentle stretching or massage. You can use a palm sander with a soft bonnet as a massage tool.
Wow.
Not fun.
Yeah.
Like to say, when you feed a baby a bottle, do you feed the baby only once every 2 weeks?
Never know.
You want to do something to help your muscles every few hours. Literally,
Oh, wow.
if you have an area of your body that has been in a kind of a chronic spasm, you really need to do something every few hours. And it doesn't matter which of those things you do, heat, ice, gentle exercise, stretching, or massage. So you need to do one of those things every few hours, and you can turn that condition around.
Wow, that's good information.
Kind of fun to know. I guess I just like to say that our bodies are the greatest miracle. We are the greatest miracle. I love Ogmandino. Have you read his book entitled The World's Greatest Miracle?
Oh, I haven't. We'll have to check that out.
Yeah, Ogmandino years and years ago wrote the book entitled The World's Greatest Miracle. And within the first 20 pages, he reveals that humans are the world's greatest miracle.
Absolutely.
Right? We can walk and we can talk and we can heal, and we are the only creatures with the, hippocampus and a high functioning reasoning. And so we are the greatest miracle, and we can for sure reverse conditions.
Absolutely. And we are trusted with these bodies. And part of our test on earth is how we take care of them. And it is a whole system. Like you said, there's the spiritual, mental, physical, and all of that needs to be in balance for sure.
Indeed. In fact, I bet it was 15 years ago, I was listening to General Conference on a Saturday morning, and the speaker was talking about our bodies and said, our bodies are high maintenance and designed to be so. And when I heard that, I thought, oh, okay, Heavenly Father, you did this to me? My body is high maintenance and designed to be so. And so
Wow.
ever since then, I don't feel guilty when I need to spend money on nutrition or supplements, or spend money on body work, or go to a naturopath, or go get
Right.
help. Our bodies are high maintenance and designed to be so.
Hmm.
Who knew?
Wow.
Yeah. So, other story that happened on my table in my massage room, a woman was due to deliver her fifth child, and her due date was like Sunday, and her husband called me and said, my wife can't even walk. Her leg hurts so bad, and her hip hurts so bad. Now, this woman didn't get massages regularly, but it's a Friday, and I'm leaving on vacation at noon. But Friday. But I said, get her here as quick as she can. She got on my table at 10 o'clock, and I began massaging her. Her poor leg was the worst in all the years and the decades I've been working. It chronic spasm. The whole leg and hip felt like a complete tree trunk. It was, and I'm
pregnant and
due to deliver within a few days. I just prayed with all my might, Heavenly Father, what do we do? What do I do? I have less than 2 hours to help this woman. And it was so great because he told me exactly what to do. Of course, we fed her more magnesium and trace minerals, and I applied trace minerals topically a whole lot. I was dumping these liquid trace minerals on her skin as I'm massaging. And within about an hour, that leg went from the worst that I had ever seen to literally the most flaccid poster child, best muscles of about anybody I'd ever seen. And she
Wow.
had a child on Monday.
Oh, wow.
So cool, huh? Fun
Yeah.
miracles. Really great miracles.
Well, this is kind of switching gears a little bit, but in your bio, it says that you do hypnotherapy, and that's intriguing to me. What type of
Oh,
healing have you seen with
I
that?
am ready to tell that story. You ready?
Oh,
This
I didn't know you even had one prepared. I was just curious.
Well, the whole story is okay. I had never in my life thought that hypnotherapy wasn't really on my radar at all. I had previously, years and years ago, two different friends who were hypnotherapists, and I had maybe a couple of sessions from each of them. And let's describe hypnotherapy is not scary voodoo; it's
Right.
simply guided visualization with a goal. And
Okay.
in fact, in 1958, the American Medical Association accepted hypnosis therapy as viable therapy. And to this day, in the American Medical Association, it's considered accepted reasonable, rational, viable therapy. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
But I had never, it wasn't on my radar. Well, it was 2019, end of August 2019. I'm climbing the Grand Teton with my son. Now, I started mountaineering in 2012, so I'd climbed a lot of mountains, Rainier, Mount Olympus in the state of Washington, some 14,000-foot mountains, Sneffels in Colorado, which is considered America's Matterhorn. So I got sick. I'm on the Grand Teton with my son in 2019, and we had not yet summited, and I am feeling very, very ill. Very ill. I knew it wasn't hypoglycemia. I knew it wasn't dehydration. I knew it wasn't high altitude sickness. I knew how to treat all those. I'd been climbing for 6 years, and this illness I was feeling a headache and swaying, loss of balance. Well, I carry B12 with me when I'm climbing because B12 is molecularly very, very similar to caffeine. And so, well, instead of caffeine when I need a boost for my endurance. Anyway, we got to the summit. I smiled really pretty for the camera, but I'm feeling really sick. And then hightailing it down as I am trying to get down off that summit. The Grand Teton's 13,777, something like that. And I thought, well, maybe if I can get down to lower elevation, 10,000, 9,000, 8,000, I'll feel better. Even though I knew it didn't feel like altitude, I still wanted to get down lower. Well, as I'm descending and I still feel horrible, I'm swaying like a drunken sailor. And as we're walking along a trail and I'm carrying a, 45-pound pack, my son is behind me because I'm swaying so badly. He's ready to catch my pack because he doesn't want me to fall off the trail. That's how badly I was.
Whoa.
Right. But I'm praying, Heavenly Father, please take this away. There have been quite a number of experiences where I've been on a mountain and I've prayed and asked for help, and he has granted my wish. This time I said, please take this illness away from me. And he said, no. Oh, you must suffer this. There is a purpose in your suffering. No.
Oh.
Gee, thanks. Love you. Heavenly Father. So we get down off the mountain. I spend the night at my son's. He lived in Wyoming at the time. And I was able to drive home the next afternoon. I thought, well, maybe it's vertigo. And even I took medicine as if it were seasickness. I took boning or whatever that stuff is. Anyway, nothing helped. So I scheduled an appointment with an ear, nose, and throat person because I thought maybe it's vertigo. We know that crystals in the ear can duck, and I wanted them to do, it's called the Epley maneuver, and check me for vertigo. So I was in the ear, nose, and throat specialist office. They had done that maneuver, and they said, no, it's not vertigo. So I am sitting by myself in the office, waiting for them to come back and talk to me some more. And I was praying. I said, okay, Heavenly Father, I get it, that you're not going to take this malady away from me, but I need to know what it is. What is it I'm dealing with? And the Spirit said, close your eyes. So I closed my eyes, and the Spirit said, notice your body. And as I closed my eyes, I felt like I was on a ship. I was, even though I was not moving at all, it felt like I was
Swing.
walking on a ship.
Yeah.
When the doctor came in, female ear, nose, and throat specialist, she said, we really can't figure out what is going on with you. And I said, I have a bit of data that it just occurred to me to tell you. And she said, what's that? I said, when I close my eyes, I feel like I'm swaying. She said, oh, you have malady debarkment. Well, okay, what's malady debarkment? Malady debarkment is such a rare neurological condition that most people who develop this malady go to 10 or 12 different doctors. They struggle for a long time, months, if not years, to figure out what's wrong with them. And I think because I prayed, I was diagnosed in a nanosecond.
Wow.
So they sent me to occupational therapy. They wanted me taking sedatives at night to calm my central nervous. And nothing worked. Nothing helped. I was just basically seasick on dry land. So some of the research I did said that if a person has malady debarkment, sometimes it can spontaneously disappear. If the person has it for longer than a year, they're probably going to have it for life. And people go on federal disability with this neurological condition because it's that bad.
Oh,
There's the headache, the nausea, no appetite. And so to make the story short, it had now been almost 2 years.
oh,
Every day I woke up and said, Heavenly Father, has the higher purpose been fulfilled yet? Will you heal me yet? Will you heal me?
oh,
Yeah. I still functioned. I still gave massages. I still worked, but I just felt horrible. And one morning I'm sitting at the kitchen counter with my head in my hands with the headache and the nausea and trying to have a good attitude. I'm thinking, if this is my life, right? A lot of people have a life that's a lot worse. Let's have a good attitude. Let's suffer
wow.
with dignity, right? Suffer with dignity. I am holding my head in my hands and I hear the voice say, wonder if hypnosis could heal malady debarkment. And I go, what? Why haven't I thought of that before? I sprang into action. I texted some friends, who do you know who's a hypnosis therapist? Because I lost contact with the other two people. Well, one of them had passed away of a brain tumor, but I'd lost contact with the other ones. And before the end of the day, I had the number of a reputable hypnosis therapist here in Cache Valley. And in 48 hours, I was sitting in her office and she was talking with me and working with me.
Wow.
And the doctors had said in these 2 years, with this condition, it would be best if you never got on a boat again as long as you live. Well, I live for boating. I water ski constantly. So I thought that's not going to help. That's not going to happen. So I was actually taking a lot of anti-nausea medicines and I was still boating. And if I felt really, really, really horrible, I'd just say to my husband, drop me off on the shore, and I'd sit on the shore for a while. But then I'd go, because that's just brings joy, right? Anyway, this hypnosis therapist, we'll call her Trina. I was leaving to go on a boating trip to go to Flaming Gorge in a week, and she said, I'd like to see you again. So she did hypnosis for me, 2 hypnosis sessions, and I went to Flaming Gorge. I was healed.
Wow.
Completely, 100% totally healed.
In 2 sessions?
2 hypnosis sessions, I was healed from a rare neurological condition of which there is no cure.
Wow.
So when I got back from Flaming Gorge, I met with her again because I purchased a package of 4 sessions, and we worked on something different this time. And afterward, before I left, I was so excited, and I asked her, would you please take me as an apprentice? I now wanted more than anything to help other people as dramatically as she'd helped me.
Wow.
The story short, she did take me on as an apprentice, and I became trained and began working on other people in early 2023. And that's my story of healing. Wow. And what's really cool is, again, we can overcome anything. Of course, if it's God's will, right?
Right. Right.
But it is how cool for us to have the mindset, I'm going to beat this. Whatever it is, I'm going to overcome this. I'm going to beat this with God's help. That's a pretty great mindset to have.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, hypnosis is a reasonable and viable therapy that is accepted by the American Medical Association.
I love that. That's very cool.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Do you have any tips or advice for anybody that has maybe going through some of the similar trials that you've been going through?
Yeah, the advice I would have is never give up.
Yeah.
Never give up. And the advice is our mind is so much more powerful than any of us realize, right? And so there were a lot of years I was reading books like Norman Vincent Peale, Power of Positive Thinking, and The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, right? There are thousands of books out now to help us, teach us the power of positive thinking, because we all know that our body can and will respond to our thoughts. Okay, another story. I was participating in a duathlon. So what's a duathlon? You run, I think we were running 5 miles, hop on a bike for 16 miles, and then run another 5 miles. And
Wow.
in this duathlon, I had done the running 5 miles, and I don't love to run, guys. I don't love it. But so it's not my favorite thing to do, but biking is my favorite. Well, skiing's my favorite. We'll go on from there. In the middle of the bike ride, no, 3/4 the way through the bike ride, I get a cramp in my right leg that is a severe Charlie horse cramp. And you don't recover in the middle of an event like that. You don't recover from a severe cramp. I knew I had to withdraw.
Wow.
Get off the bike and withdraw. Instead, I said, Heavenly Father, please, I need some magnesium right now. I need a lot of magnesium. Please, will you let me breathe in magnesium molecules from the air?
Wow.
Magnesium molecules. And I just was breathing and believing and breathing and believing and talking to my leg. And I finished the bike ride and completed the second part of it, the other 5-mile run, and took first place in my age category.
Wow. That's amazing.
Oh, guys, believe.
Believe. Yeah. I love that. Do you have one final message that you want someone
Yes.
to take away?
Yes, Kang. I am going to sing a darling little song that I teach to children. Actually,
Okay.
a massage therapist taught this song to me, and she taught this to her children during COVID.
Oh.
Ready for this adorable song? And when I get sad or frustrated or sick, it's just the easiest song. I taught this to a kindergarten teacher. That kindergarten teacher's now in heaven. She's an angel now, but she taught it to her kindergarten children. So you ready?
Yeah.
Every little cell in my body is healthy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is healthy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad every cell is healthy. I'm so glad every cell is well. I'm so glad every cell is healthy. I'm so glad every cell is well. Every little cell in my body is healthy. Every little cell in my body is. Every little cell in my body is healthy. Every little cell in my body is well.
I love that. That is so wonderful. And then you're
So
like, you got the
beautiful.
power of the thoughts and you just
Awesome. Yes.
feel all little cells for those kids. I love it. Beautiful. Well, Linda, thank you so much for being with us. And those messages are so healing. And you're right. The power of our thoughts are more than we could even imagine.
Yes. Thank you for having me, and please invite me again anytime because I have thousands of miracles to share.
I know you do. Thank you again.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on Latter-day Miracles. If you have a miracle story that you feel inspired to share, we'd love to hear from you. Contact us on our website at latterdaymiracles.net or message us on social media.
Until next time, keep your heart open to the miraculous, and may you feel the presence of angels in your everyday life.